Boys should play with guns and girls should play with cooking pots. At least according to children's media, that is. It's no secret that almost every little boy and girl sat idly by and was blasted by television and media every day. This is what made it easy for companies to drill gender stereotyping and gender roles into their young minds. Affecting children all across America and the world, you yourself may realize that you too were influenced by the bombardment. As I grew up, I had my own toys and interests that I soon realized were onto me by the media. I thought that robots were cool because the media told me that they were, not from my own volition. It is this that has caused me to research how gender stereotyping children's media can have a negative effect on a child's still developing mind. Through my speech today, I want to share why children's media should not be gender stereotyped and influence children into falling into gender roles. First, I will talk about how the media is gender stereotyped. Then, I'll talk about the consequences, and finally, how we could stop gender stereotyping's influence. So, let me tell you how it is that the media promotes gender stereotyping. The media has a powerful hold on influencing a young child's mind. Through a childhood, a boy seems to be on the receiving end of endless bombardments of ads and TV shows with the characters being shown as strong or manly figures of authority, as well as toys that usually consist of like superheroes or action-based characters, as well as an emphasis on building and positions of power. This shows boys that they must be strong and act accordingly, or else they'll be ridiculed by friends and family for not being what society views as manly. The media directed at boys also glosses over emotions overall rather than helping them handle complex emotions. This is completely different from what has been marketed towards girls. As stated on Springer.com, Lego City encouraged boys to enact skilled professions, expertise, and heroism, but Lego Friends focused on girls having hobbies, being apprentices, engaging in domestic, caring, and socializing activities, and emphasizing beauty. Girls are broadcasted the idea of accepting more domestic gender roles with an emphasis on looks rather than what boys are marketed in toys and television. Girls have baby dolls and dollhouses, which also reinforces gender roles that the women should stay home while the man goes out to work. Now that you know how it is that the media is being gender stereotyped, let me tell you why this is a bad thing. The negative effects of gender stereotyping can be seen in both boys and girls. This type of gender stereotyping can have negative effects on boys. In a study on children's media and how masculinity is portrayed, more specifically toxic masculinity, Elizabeth Grimes states, examples of these behaviors include racist views and actions, homophobic views and 29 actions, a need for themselves and other men to be physically strong and aggressive, and a negative reaction to traditionally feminine behaviors, which, when paired with a young developing mind of a child, it can lead to trouble later down the line. Along with many of the heroes idolized by boys have a physique that could even make a Greek statue blush, which also promotes an unhealthy and oftentimes unattainable body goal. However, the effects on young girls is much more severe. Young girls are routinely exposed to characters that uphold sexist values and beliefs. The Disney princesses, for example, hold values of putting beauty on a pedestal and waiting for your Prince Charming, rather than going out there and doing something with your life. According to a study conducted by Girls Inc., which surveyed 1,059 girls between the grades of 3 and 12, it discovered that even in the 21st century, girls still accept the traditional concepts of females, and moreover, they internalize these ideals. Girls reported feeling pressure to be thin, kind, caring, speak softly, and not cause trouble. So it is apparent that the media is demanding way too much out of young girls with the mounting anxiety that they feel. Although this being the Disney princesses, according to Springer.com, despite the overt gender stereotypes, Disney princess products have been on the rise in the past years, with retail profits rising from $300 million in 2001 to $2.64 billion global retail sales in 2015. so it shows no signs of slowing down despite this. Now that you know the cause and effects, let me tell you what benefits could come from stopping gender stereotyping in children's media. It is important for children to have a free range of development as they grow rather than being boxed into labels and stereotypes that media pushes onto them. As previously stated, children's media for the most part pushes the notion of following gender roles and gender stereotyping. According to the New York Times, a study suggests the potential power of words and images to counter gender stereotypes and open up what children see as possible interests and activities for themselves, and experts say that those choices are significant because they can influence the skills children learn and the possibilities they see for themselves. So instead of being closed off by gender boundaries, a child may find inspiration for what they want to do earlier in life through earlier exposure to different elements growing up rather than the same monotonous cycle of blue and pink. For example, girls could benefit from some of the action characters directed at boys and grow to assert themselves more and not care exclusively about outer beauty, rather focus on developing to be strong and find a balance that they would be much happier with, and also look into career paths earlier. The same could be said with boys. Well, maybe they want to go into fashion, but they don't want to be ridiculed for liking girly things and not fall into the cookie cutter shape of manliness that the media and society has set for them, as well as stop boys and girls growing anxieties of having to look a certain way, whether it be like a princess or a Greek statue, and allow kids to be kids and just be happy. Now that you know about this issue, let's start wrapping it up. First, I talked about how children's media is gender stereotyped. Then I discussed the negative effects that this has on children, and finally I addressed what would be some benefits of stopping the systematic targeting of young children into following gender stereotypes. By now I hope you've learned the effects of gender stereotyping in children's media can have and why it should not be in the first place. Now, go back to some media you used to watch in your youth. You may be surprised at what you find.